So there will come a time where hard conversations become easier. And I feel so passionate about this, that couples need to be able to have any conversation at all. And I believe that we have the method to do that. It could change nations if people would just listen to Dick Schwartz. That this idea of unblending and speaking for what's going on, change is a game changer. It's really a game changer. And even though there are lots of things to do in couple therapy other than just speaking and listening to each other, I really do believe that it's important that we have so many things to negotiate and communicate about. And that the way that couples come into our offices, just like you saw, it's a war. It's a mini war that's going on. And there's so many polarizations inside and out, they can't negotiate anything at all. And remembering that this is process-oriented, this is a process-oriented methodology, so that we're of course interested in the content, but we are more interested in how they're processing the content. Does that make sense to you? So how you're speaking and listening, we're going to get to all the content that you need to get to. And how many times I've heard, and maybe you've heard this too, we had this horrible fight, I have no idea what it was about. That is the indicator to you. It has nothing to do with what it was about. It had to do with you're not listening, you're not with me, we're not connected, you're not emotionally available, you're not listening to me about what I need, and I'm not listening to you because you're threatening to me, your protector's threatening to me. So this week I want to see if you guys, we're going to talk about repair, we're going to talk about sex, but really what I want to see you playing around with in your practice groups is how you can help people unblend enough to be able to start having these really hard conversations. And it doesn't really matter about what, but we happen to have two intense content areas that we're going to be talking about with you. Judy Zolden, who is another one of our team here, says, honor the urgent concerns and good intentions of the protector so the couple can gain a wider perspective. And that's your job, right? It's our job to honor the concerns and the good intentions and the wishes and the fears of the protectors. And it does begin to open up the conversation for people when we're able to do that with them. Talked about dysregulation. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. Okay. So when we're setting up a courageous communication, you probably remember this, is lots and lots of unblending on the part of both people, right? And in IFIO, we're focusing a lot on the listening person. And that a lot of people will listen from like a white-knuckled place. So what is really going on when that's happening?
Protectors are just right there.
Yeah, and what are they doing besides squeezing the arm of the chair? Not listening. What else are they doing? Pardon me? Preparing. They're preparing. They're preparing for their response. And, so we really want to make it safe, and we take an obnoxiously long time. I'll check, and then I'll check again with people because, sure, I'll listen. You've heard all this. Sure, I'll listen. And then when I say, this is inevitable, I'll say, well, let's just check and make sure there aren't any parts with any concerns. There are always parts with concerns. And what are they concerned about? Not being heard, but they're the listening person. So what are they afraid is coming at them? Blame, anger, accusation is what, they're afraid if they really listen. And if they really listen to that, and you're not there to stop those blaming, shaming language, what's going to happen to them? What does the protector say? Why would that be hard? What's wrong with somebody blaming? It's activating shame. It hurts, right? It hurts. So inevitably, you're going to stumble upon parts that that are afraid. And so, what's our invitation to those parts going to be? We're going to reassure. We're going to help them stay unblended, and we are going to work with the person who's speaking to talk about themselves. And protectors, they don't want to talk about themselves. They want to talk about the other person. So this is another thing that we do, is we help people understand that they're going to be speaking for their own experience and not about the other person. I am very clear with people that if you begin a sentence with you are for sure going to be met with, "I'm not listening anymore." So you have told me, this is exactly what I will say, you have told me that you are longing and dying to be heard here. And if they haven't told me that already, then I'll somehow figure out a way to get them to tell me that. And if you continue to speak directly from the part of you that is so frustrated, you're not going to be heard. So will you let me help you? Remember that? Those 5 little words. Will you let me help you? 6. Will you let me help you be heard here? And you have to believe that you can. That you can actually do that for people. And then yes, but. And I will, and I learned this actually from, my mentor of many years ago, my Imago mentor, long before I even learned IFS, which is, I want you to look at me right now. I want you to look right at me, make eye contact with them. I am not going to let you continue to hurt yourself this way. Like, it's big. It's big that if if this is not ever going to get the need met that you want to get met. And I understand your frustration. Like, this is probably years and years and years of frustration. So we want to validate that and offer another way. Validate the feeling, offer another way. Validate the feeling, offer an alternative. If we can get just a little bit of separation, the nervous system will relax. You might be able to speak for what's coming up for you, and you might actually have an experience of being listened to. So a lot of times, you will start the process of having people speak and listen, and they can't do it because they're so dysregulated and they're so upset. And that then you have to roll back. This is where flexibility comes in. You start a conversation, one or both of them can't handle it. We go back to unblending more specifically, or we go all the way back to tracking. Oh, here it is again. You heard Anne say that at some point. Well, here it is again, the way that you've been communicating. So remember, you're backtracking all the time. This is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You might have to, switch gears many times during a session.